Hi, friends.
Hi, friends.
We're back. It's episode 102 of the Brunch and Judge.
That was the second 101 Dalmatian.
It's
it was 102
true.
Dalmatians.
102 Dalmatians. Although I don't actually remember what that was about, so
I don't either. I don't recall.
We'll just let it go.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are your hosts. I'm April.
And I'm Claire.
And this week we are talking cults.
Again.
I love cults. Oh my god. So, as per usual, this will be 2 episodes because cults take forever to talk about.
Yeah,
boy.
They do.
Indeed. I even tried to pick something that there wasn't a whole lot about, but then when I got a little bit more, it went insane on me, and I was like, well, okay. So
you're like, I bit off more than I could chew.
Mm-hmm. And then found like a 6-part documentary, and I was like, oh, okay.
Wow.
There's a lot of things, so that'll be fun. But first, this week we will be doing Claire's cult. Claire's cult. I like that. Yes. So maybe Claire should start her cult. No. Anyway,
I'd be a terrible cult leader.
You know,
I'm just not I am not charismatic enough to be a cult leader. I could not make all these people just believe shit that I make up. I'm sorry. I'm not that person.
Maybe you need to be the Sheila in the wild, wild country of cult.
Maybe.
I'll be the cult leader. I can be charismatic.
You'll be the Bhagwan. Right? You can be the Bhagwan.
I'll just take that's the thing. You just do like the vow of silence pretty quickly, because then no one can talk to you and you're safe.
I'll just talk for you.
There you go.
Like, oh, well, she said.
It's like, she said more sugar. You need more sugar.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. Well, Claire, what cult did you bring for us this week?
Well, I know that I've been doing like the cultiest cults to ever have culted whenever we do these. So I was like, let me find something that I did. I went out and I found something that I had never heard of. And I was like, What is this? And then I was like, oh my God, this is atrocious. I must talk about it.
I'm excited to learn more.
So I'm just going to let you all know now, trigger warnings abound with this one.
Okay. All right.
Dismemberment and abuse and all the things. All the bad things.
Dismemberment? Okay.
Dude.
I'm ready for this. Holy hell.
Yeah, abuse abounds so much in this one. Yeah. So I found a cult based out of Canada called the Ant Hill Kids.
That's so funny. My cult is Mexico. We had to choose. Okay, sorry.
We're like,
you can't help ourselves.
Opposites. I know.
Wait, so this? The Ant Hill Kids.
Yes.
In Canada.
Yes.
I've never heard of this.
I had not either.
It sounds like what was that weird TV show? I'm not gonna remember it.
Was it a cartoon?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Something about kids.
What, like all that?
Kids in the hallway or something like that, I think is what it was.
Oh,
it's weird. Old
kids
random...
kids in the hall.
Kids in the hall. That's what it was. Okay. Yeah, for some reason, Ant Hill Kids made me think, oh, that
kids
show.
Kids in the hall. Yeah.
Kids in the hall. Not the same, but okay.
Yeah, no, this is not the same thing. I wish it was, but it's not.
So sorry. I was like, no, it's that thing. It's not that thing. All right. So apparently.
No, it's not.
All right.
Yeah.
Tell us all the things, Claire.
My sources were Wikipedia, cultnation.com, but the cult was spelled with a V. It was CVLT Nation.
Okay.
Like that, like Nexium, how it's all weird.
Mm-hmm,
yeah. All that's interesting, and Toronto.com. So, this cult was started by, and this all takes place in Canada, A lot of these people are French Canadian. Don't at me with a lot of these French names because I don't speak French. Anyway, the head of this cult, his name was Roche, it's Roch, and so not Roach, but I can't work with spittle and guttural whatever to
Real.
like hock up a
You just
loogie.
gotta feel it in the back of your
Last name
throat.
was Theriault, and I don't. Anyway, names whatever. He was born May 16th, 1947. Like I said, he's French Canadian. He was one of 7 children, which I'm just like, damn. When he was younger, he claimed abuse by his father, but there was never any evidence of that. Like, not with him or any of the other children either. So don't know how true or not true that is.
Fair.
When he was, they said he was extremely intelligent, like way too smart for his own good, kind of intelligent. He dropped out of school when he was in 7th grade, which I'm like, you had that choice.
Yeah, I know. Like you can do that.
Yeah. And so then when he dropped out, he started to teach himself the Old Testament of the Bible, which I'm just like, but why?
On purpose? God.
Right.
Why?
Like, yeah, like it wasn't like his parents took him out and did it, like homeschooled him. Like that was his choice.
It's like, you know what I'm going to become a master at? The Old Testament.
Like, no, nobody wants that. When he was in his teens, he became aggressive and violent and had like kind of crazy violent outbursts.
So is there a correlation or a causation between the two? Because Old Testament's pretty dark and violent. Just saying.
Possibly. I never really talked about it, but maybe. And he developed at a young age a really bad drinking habit. And you're just like, So that probably also did not help with the violent outbursts.
Probably not.
So in his studying of the Old Testament, he started to develop this doomsday mentality of, the end is near and will be brought on by a war between good and evil and that kind of mentality. And eventually he converted from Catholicism to Seventh-day Adventist.
Okay.
So I'm like, I feel like you picked one bag of crazy to the other because
yes, let's pick.
We've talked about Seventh-day Adventists before, and they're the ones who are like vegetarian and
hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
No. But like they take it to like the next level. Like, because I talked about in the cereal episode, if you recall, that Kellogg, as in, Kellogg cereal, that guy.
That's right.
Took it to like the next level of I don't want to have sex with my wife. So they never like consummated their marriage and they just adopted a bunch of children. Like,
I just feel like
that kind of
is what happens if you spend too much time reading the Old Testament. That's all I'm saying, guys. That's all I'm saying. Dangerous area.
Really.
Lots of bad things happen in the Old Testament. Lots of death.
So, he began practicing, like, they believe very much in like holistic things, but he began practicing, their holistic beliefs and their vegetarian lifestyle, eating healthy foods, no tobacco. I think part of it is they really don't want you drinking caffeine either, stuff like that.
I'm doomed.
Right. No tea. Like what? So, in 1977, when he was 30 years old, he took on the alias. It's basically the French version of Moses. It's like Moises or something like that.
Oh, yeah. It's like the French version.
But yeah. But basically he named himself Moses.
Okay.
Yeah, which I'm
Why
like,
why not?
I feel like all these people either name them like they're either Jesus incarnate or they call themselves Moses. I feel like all these cult people.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he claimed himself to be a prophet. Shock, surprise. As most of these people do. And he began spouting his doomsday beliefs. Like I said, he believed that God told him that the world would end in February of 1979. So 2 years from 70, it was 77. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, I'm like, that's pretty specific.
Sure. I mean, I
Um,
appreciate that little
yeah,
little
that
heads up.
God had warned him
Thanks.
personally. Yes. So he began to convince all these people, like in the Seventh Day Adventist Church that he was in, to leave their jobs and their homes and to join him in his new religious movement and to form this commune because that's what they do.
So here is where I get lost a lot is someone comes in and they're like, "Hey, God came down from the heavens,
Right.
maybe some cool bright lights, whatever you want, however that story goes. Told me the world's going to end on whatever.
XYZ, yeah.
Yeah. So come with me. We're going to go ahead and start something brand new. Going to do a whole new thing over here now.
Like,
Instead
come
of
with me if you want to live.
But it's like, but if the world, I mean, like,
right, yeah. Like, why are we starting a brand new thing if we're all
Yeah.
gonna die? Like,
well, am I? If I'm only chosen if I go with you, but why the hell? Like, I just can't. My brain can't follow the logic.
and it really didn't talk about what he was telling them, so I don't know if he was
No.
saying, if you come with me, you'll be safe. I don't
That's
know
fair.
if that was what he was saying. So,
But I guess maybe I'm just a hedonist person because I'm like, shit, only
maybe.
2 more years? Like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to do all the things.
Right, yeah.
All of
If
the
you really
things.
believe that, yeah, like the world's gonna end in 2 years. Oh yeah, I'm like, just quit my job and like run around the world.
Yeah, I'm gonna
You know,
see everything, try everything.
right? Like, screw that. Yeah. So they decided to form a commune where people could freely listen to his motivational speeches, live in unity and equality, and be free of sin.
Best of luck.
Oh yeah, yeah. There was no. Um, but he, I love how it's like live freely and equality. But he prohibited his followers from staying in contact with their families because they were ousted from the Seventh Day Adventist Church.
Well,
And because they were like, you're this brand of crazy, we don't even want to touch with a 10-foot pole, basically,
Mm-hmm.
is how that was. It was like, no. Mm-mm. So he wanted them to cut ties with their families, with the Seventh Day Adventist Church, because they were against his movement's values and freedom.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So normal
like,
cult leader behavior.
Yeah. So in 1978, Theriault moved his group. I think they were in Sainte Marie, Quebec at this time, but then they moved from there to Saint Jokes. I mean, it's Jogues. So I'm like, I don't.
Oh, Jogues.
Ues. Ues. Sorry.
Jogues.
Yes.
Probably Georges.
No. Anyway, which is also in Quebec.
Georges. We'll go with that.
I don't know. There's not. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
By hiking to a mountainside called Eternal Mountain. So they hiked from one place to another. And when they got there, he basically forced the group to build their town / commune while he like oversaw. So basically he just kicked back and relaxed and bossed everybody around and did nothing while everybody did all the work. And so this is where they got their name, because he said as they were working that he compared them to ants working at an anthill. Because they were like busy doing all the stuff, and he was doing nothing because he's a big loser.
God, I really hate this guy. And we haven't even gotten to the bad shit yet.
No, we have not. 1979 rolls around.
Mm-hmm.
Doomsday came and went It was uneventful,
Mm-hmm.
as you can imagine. The followers began to question his legitimacy, obviously. His rebuttal was that Earth's timeline and God's timeline are not parallel. And so they're not like equal because, 1,000 years is a day and a day is 1,000 years and blah, 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 blah. So he must have miscalculated.
Aha.
So his calculations could have been wrong. Whatever. This is also why I would not make a good cult leader, because I just think they're all bullshit, and I would just be like, don't listen to me. This is bullshit. Um, so I guess he didn't have a whole lot of people following him. So he wanted to expand the community. So guess how he did that?
Child brides.
Ding, ding, ding. I don't even know if they're child, but he began marrying all the women who were following him and impregnating them. I think there were only 9 women in the group at the time. And I saw anywhere in my sources, anywhere from 20 to 26 children
Ew.
that he fathered amongst these 9 women. Because then one of them
pass.
said 20, one said 23, one said 26. So I don't, anywhere from 20 to 26 children he fathered with these 9 women. And by the 1980s, the group had grown to 40 members. And I'm assuming
because
that
half of them were his children.
Apparently. Yes. I don't know if it's all because of his children. They may have picked up a few more along the way. I don't know. They did go out and make money, so it's not like they were just completely. So they would bake goods like bread and other kind of baked goods, and they would go out and sell them. So that's how they brought money into the commune. Let's see. 1984, he moved everybody to Central Ontario.
Okay.
So they moved it again. He forced the members to wear identical tunics to represent their equality and their devotion to him and to the group. But during this time, Theriault's drinking problem worsened. So did his need and want for control, and he started having these paranoia fits, and as his paranoia worsened, he began invoking these weird rules where it was like nobody was allowed to talk to anybody else unless he was present. Yeah. And you're just like, what? Yeah. Nobody was allowed to talk to anybody else unless he was present around. They could only talk through him, and then of course he imparts the whole no sex without my permission.
Ew.
Yeah, so if there were couples, a husband and wife had joined, they weren't even allowed to have sex without his permission, which I'm just like, that's gross.
That is gross. I don't.
Yeah, and all this started to get worse, and it was exacerbated by the drinking. And then he claimed to have divine authority, and he began punishing everybody through their acts of disobedience, whatever that was, which basically just turned into sadistic torture, these punishments. And I mean, that could be anything from you did not sell enough baked goods today at the market to you tried to run away. So
wow.
Anything in between. It was just, and it was the alcohol I'm sure made it worse. So it really was like having an abusive alcoholic father who was, you didn't know what you were going to get.
Yeah. Wow.
So some of the punishments, he would hang people from the ceiling and pluck out their body hair one at a time.
Ow.
Hair by hair. Yeah. He would defecate on people and then force them to eat it.
Ew.
Yeah, I'm just I can't. I would die.
I'd be just go ahead and do whatever. I'm out.
Yeah.
I quit. Leave me alone.
He would beat people with belts and hammers, especially ones who tried to run away. He would force members to break their own legs with sledgehammers. Like even ones who tried to run away.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Or like break each other's legs with sledgehammers. Like he never really did a whole lot. It was forcing people to do it to themselves or to each other because he's a dick. Other than like he would shit on people. You know. He would force people to sit on a hot stove and like burn them. He would force people to shoot each other in the shoulder, like not kill each other, but yeah, I'm just like, damn.
Ow.
He would force people to eat mice.
No.
Yeah, yeah. He would force people to cut off toes and fingers of other people who seemed like they were, if he wanted them to prove their loyalty, or cut off toes and fingers of people who were not loyal. Again, people who tried running away or, you know, seemed like they were not happy there, whatever. Then he started abusing the children. He would nail children to a tree and then make the other children throw rocks at them. Yeah.
Whoa.
Like this guy was nuts.
Like he went to really dark, sadistic places. Like
yeah.
Whoa.
In fact, the children like were getting abused so badly. I mean, other than just beating, like that was like
right.
Yeah. One woman
I'm
left
trying to imagine where I'm like, yeah, please just hit me a whole lot versus some of this other shit. Like, holy cow.
One woman left her baby outside to freeze to death. I think to just avoid.
To keep the baby from having to suffer through this?
Yes. The fate of dealing with Theriault and his ridiculousness. He would dismember people. Like he would just come up and cut off people's arms or legs or whatever. I mean, just start chopping off body parts at random. He thought that he would be, yeah.
He would come up to someone and just chop off an arm.
Yeah.
Like, just for the hell of it, walking by, I'm going to chop off the arm.
I don't know about that, but it was like...
it's part of the punishment thing. Like,
yeah, part of the punishment. Yeah, it was just like...
They didn't just immediately die from that? That's a lot of blood loss.
Apparently not. Apparently not. Because he claimed... yeah, I'm getting to it. Because, okay, and then another thing he did, they thought he was purifying the members of sin, so he would like strip them naked and whip them and beat them like naked. So that was like purifying them of their sins.
Sure.
And in the middle of all this, he claimed to be holy and that he could heal, that he had healing powers because he was so holy.
Sure.
So he began doing unnecessary surgeries on people to prove his healing powers. And some of these surgeries like included him injecting like 94% ethanol into people's stomachs. Yeah, like, and he was doing like circumcisions on children and adults without anesthesia. Like they didn't have anesthesia.
Yeah,
they didn't
not.
have the surgical tools. It was just bananas. In 1987, there was a like, they don't call it CPS up in Canada, but it was basically the Canadian version of CPS, did investigate, and they took 17 children out of the commune and apparently asked the mothers if they wanted to come too. And the majority of the mothers said no because they were so terrified and brainwashed. Like they were afraid that he would come after them and find them and kill them and the kids. So it was better just to like let the kids go and sacrifice themselves to stay.
That's insane.
That they would just suffer and let the children leave.
But so if CPS came and took 17 kids, there's nobody left, right?
And well, I guess the rest of the adults, I don't know. At this point, I don't really know how many more adults he had, but they said that he didn't have any charges, even though they took 17 children. There were no charges against him at that time. Most of it was because where they were at, they really didn't have water, I think. So it was that kind of thing. But there were no charges against, because, you know, of course the kids were lying when they interviewed him, you know.
Right.
Because, oh yeah, things are great.
No, I was born without this arm.
Right. I don't know where these nail marks came that are in my arm. I don't know.
Mm-mm.
In 1989, one of his followers, her name was Solange Boyard, she complained of an upset stomach, and he decides to do surgery on her, which consisted of him punching her in the stomach and then giving her an enema of olive oil and molasses. Yeah, just shoved a tube of her ass and started giving her an enema of olive oil and molasses. Cut her open. There's no anesthesia, no
No.
putting her to sleep. She's awake. Yeah. Cut her open, and he forced someone else to pull out part of her intestines and then to stitch her back up. Which apparently the whole time what she had was possible appendicitis.
Wow.
Like something that if you'd taken her to the hospital, she could have
It would
been
have been just fine.
right. And they caused, or he made them like shove a tube down her throat and made the other women like come in and breathe down the tube like they were breathing for her, like almost like intubate. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. Um Obviously she died shortly
Mm-hmm.
after. She did not survive that. Um Theriault claimed that he could do a resurrection,
Of course.
and part of this resurrection ritual involved trigger warning. This is bad, guys. So just let's just call it a little bit of necrophilia, okay?
Oh my
I don't even know
God.
I don't even know what you call this. Anyway,
A little bit of necrophilia.
because it's just like, what is? I mean, this is
This is like
some
just the tip or something.
this is
what
like
the
some
fuck?
Dahmer nonsense, okay? His way of resurrecting her was he drilled a hole in her skull and made all the other men ejaculate into her brain.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
And then he did it, and obviously that did not work. So then he cut her open and took out one of her ribs and then wore it around him like a necklace. Like wore it on
What
him.
in the actual fuck?
Yeah, I know. It's bad. It's bad. It's
Oh
so
my
bad.
God.
Right. One of the women who actually like he forced to assist on this whole whatever you want to call it,
Abuse of a
massacre.
corpse or whatever the
Yeah,
fuck
whatever
this
this
is.
was.
Oh
Yeah,
my
massacre of
God.
this woman. Yeah. Her name was Gabrielle Lavallee. I don't know. Anyway, Gabrielle. She I don't know her last name. Anyway, Lavallee,
Lavalier?
Lavallee, I don't know. Lavallee.
Ah, Lavale. Lavali?
I don't know. It's French. We don't know. Anyway, so Gabrielle, she had suffered a lot of abuse herself at the commune. She had welding torch burns on her genitals.
Oh God.
He had forcibly removed like 8 of her teeth. He cut off one of her breasts. He beat her with a blunt side of an axe. After her escape attempt, because she did try to get away once, he cut off a finger with a wire cutter. He pinned her hand to the table with a hunting knife and cut her arm off with a meat cleaver.
Holy shit. And she didn't die from this? Like,
No.
that's a lot of things to not die from. Like,
I'm
to
guessing
not
if
get
they had,
infections.
I'm guessing if they had
die?
welding torches, they might have like cauterized anytime he cut something off. They might have cauterized a wound or something. I don't know. Anyway, no, she did not die. But after, she, like I said, obviously this is stuff that she herself had suffered. After being forced to assist in the torture and death of Solange Boyard, she attempted to escape again, and she succeeded this time. And she made it to the police, and she was able to contact authorities. And so, excuse me, Canadian authorities launched a manhunt for Theriault. He kind of went into hiding once it was like obvious. It was like she got away. She's probably going to tell somebody.
Yeah.
And then the commune disbanded. Like like, oh, we need to go. He'd gone into hiding, but he was caught fairly quickly. It wasn't anything like there wasn't anything dramatic going on with that. Um, and they got him at the time for multiple accounts of assault just on what happened to her.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
so he pled guilty to assault for Gabrielle's arm, and because of her testimony, it opened up the investigation to more charges for abuse and murder, obviously. While he was in jail waiting trial, and even after, he had 4 more children from conjugal visits from some of these women who were still like under his spell.
Why was he allowed conjugal visits?
I don't know.
Who thought that was a good idea?
I don't know. Like, that's just ew. No. Anyway, in 1993, he pled guilty to second-degree murder for Solange Boyard's death. He got life in prison,
Good.
as he should. In 2000, they transferred him to, I don't know if they say it Dorchester or Dorchester Penitentiary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, penitentiary. In 2011, February 26th, Theriault was killed by his cellmate Matthew McDonald. They stabbed him with a shiv in the neck. And because this guy already had a life sentence, it was like, meh, he's in here. He's in here for life. Whatever.
And they're just
like,
kind
and
of
it was just
like,
kind of like, he's already in here. He's not getting out. So,
yep, you're right. He sure killed a person here that no one misses because he was garbage. But
I think it's funny that he said that it was going to end in February and he died in February.
He did. You're right. Wait, and what year was it? 2011?
2011, yeah.
So it turns out God's timeline is,
yeah,
what, 20... Wait, what year was it supposed to end?
79.
79. Okay, so 2030, 2 years off? Is my math right? I suck at math right now.
I think so.
Huh. Good to know. Good to know. So does that mean that the Mayans, when they said that the world was going to end, is actually 2044?
Maybe. Maybe. I don't know.
We'll find out.
But anyway, yeah, that is the story of the Ant Hill Kids cult.
That is insane. I've never heard of it. It is absolutely a Criminal Minds episode from hell, by the way. From the dark days. From the really dark, bad days. You know what I'm talking about.
Right. Yes. Where they were like showing all kinds of scary
and you were
shit.
Just
and like freaking you out. Yeah.
It's like, we got dark, man. Like, that is what
when
this
is. You're like, this is a borderline Saw episode. What is happening? What is going on?
God, I hated that episode.
I know, right?
It still haunts me sometimes. But yeah, like, this sounds like so far-fetched that it's not real. That it's...
Right. And I had never heard... And he was like he's like one of Canadians' most like prolific like criminals, apparently. Yeah. So...
Well, and that it happened in Canada and not here.
Right. But also that he did it for like 10 years or so, 10, 11, 12 years. Like, he got away with it. Just living in this place and just abusing the shit out of people. And finally, somebody got away to tell them, like, how bad it was. And the fact that they didn't do anything when they took those kids away.
Yeah, that when there's people literally missing limbs and obviously burned and abused, is like, you're not gonna maybe step in, ask some questions.
Right. You're just like...
But I guess what surprises me is that as abusive and horrific that he was, like, against a lot of people, like, who is catching people trying to leave? Like, you have to have enough people buying in to make people stay, but, like, everybody's missing fingers and toes or whatever from just... or having all their hair plucked out, or...
Right.
Like...
But I'm guessing also you think of, like, I don't know. Like, for example, like, if you watch Harry Potter, like, how he would even torture his own followers for doing wrong things, but then they're like, "Oh, please, master," it might be that kind of thing. So maybe like his, the ones who were like really in tight with him, he's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna cut off the tip of your finger. I'm not cutting off your whole finger." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, but still, like, you're still losing parts of your body, and
I can't.
maybe the worst thing that happened was he shit on you and he made you eat it. Like,
What?
you didn't actually lose a limb. Yeah,
Mm-mm.
I know. Like, yeah, I'm just like, ugh.
I mean, like, just getting
it's still
shat
terrible.
upon is
still
that is
terrible.
a sufficiently horrific punishment all on its own. You don't need to
Right.
add the next layer because, like,
No,
it's already pretty horrific. Like, and also, where the fuck are you getting these ideas from?
I don't know.
Like, hey,
and here's
this is how you resurrect somebody.
This
Ugh.
guy, like, how he looks is very like reminiscent of, like, I don't know, Manson / Ted Kaczynski. He looks like a man with the beard. It's just like, why? These guys are not good looking. I don't understand why you think, like,
It's the charisma, I guess. I mean,
David Koresh, I could kind of understand because he was a decent looking guy. He wasn't like completely cringy. Then you see people like, what's his face, like that Bhagwan, and you're just like, none of these people are attractive. How are they that charismatic that they're convincing all these women and bullshit to, like, all these people to follow him? I don't get it.
I mean, because there's like different types. Like, I feel like Bhagwan is more, you're looking for your guru, which maybe you have a different thought of what that should look like versus, I don't know, the new Messiah, which I've always been told that Jesus was not super attractive, by the way.
Right.
I don't remember why I was told that or where that comes from. Something that someone bothered to look up that wasn't me.
Something somebody said once, yeah.
But it's come up enough times that that it stays in my mind. Like, he's not some beautiful, perfect specimen.
Right.
So I'm like, well, why would you think the second one would be? Then again, most Jesuses have blue eyes, so what do I know?
And blonde hair and whatever. Like, what's happening with
It's that dusty blonde. It's not like platinum.
Yeah, it's not blonde. Yeah, it's not like Norwegian blonde.
Well, that's horrible. Yeah. I hate all of that. Every single bit of it.
Yeah. And it's just, yeah. Like, a lot of it didn't even really go into what he was preaching. It was just all about how horrible everything was.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming at some point they gathered more members than what they had. They had to.
And maybe they weren't counting children as members. Maybe you're not a member till you're an adult. I don't know.
Maybe not. But yeah, gross. All of it. I'm like reading this and I'm like, this sounds awful. Like, the second people started losing appendages, I would have like GTFO'd.
I've never come across that in a cult where it's, like, maybe that happens to one person or something, but like multiple people and multiple times to the same people. Well, this time he took my left boob and the next time he took my right arm or whatever. Like, what the hell?
Oh, the next time he set my genitals on fire. Like, what? Like, he burned my genitals with a blowtorch.
With a blowtorch.
Or welding torch, sorry. Yeah.
Well, whatever. A thing of fire. A thing of fire.
Exactly. I'm just like, man, he really hated women. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
Part of me is like, dude, you treat your women better than that, or they're not going to be having sex with you. That's all I got to say.
I'm not sure how, based on everything else, it doesn't sound like it was very consensual anyway. So
Right.
You can't consent when you're living in fear.
No.
I
know. It's just gross. It's all gross.
I hated that. Thank you.
You're welcome. It was terrible.
I hated all of it, but thank you for that story, Claire.
It was one of those things that I saw the name and it was like, what is this? And I just read briefly and I was like, oh, abuse. Like, oh, like, you know,
I
because
mean,
they talk about other, you know,
it's a
in
cult.
the other ones, it's just like, oh, they get beat or they starve them or they, you know,
Mm-hmm.
sleep deprivation, you know, and all that's terrible in its own right. You know, not that I'm trying to minimize that at
No, but
all.
this took
This like
horrible
went to
and took
next, this
it
like
to
next
horror movie
level.
level, and you're like,
Yeah.
I didn't sign up for this.
Like this was like I said, this was like Saw movie level
Mm-hmm.
of like, what is happening right now? Yeah. Like I said, I got into it and I was like, this is way worse than what I thought. Had no idea what I was
God.
getting into.
No, but I mean, I am appreciative that he's dead now, so that's good.
Yes, if I had known, that would have been a cookie day for sure.
I know. Mm-hmm. My cookie day list just keeps it growing these days, but
Right. Indeed.
well, that was excellent, Claire. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So now it's
Yes.
time for the most important part of the show, Claire.
Yes.
What are you judging this week?
I don't even know if it's a judge, but Brandon and I watched That American Nightmare on Netflix.
Oh yeah, I started it, but I haven't finished it yet. But is it good?
It's wild. It is so wild. And I mean, it's just like when we got done, I was like, holy shit. I don't even know what to think. I really don't.
Yeah, I feel like I should know this story. Like I swear to God, I've heard this story at some point, but like I can't remember it. And I'm like
the ending part.
out...
I don't remember the ending part. I just remember like the beginning part where vaguely they were kidnapped and then it turned into a thing, or she was kidnapped and they thought it was him, and then they found her alive, and then they thought it was her, and that she set him up. And then that was like,
it was Gone Girl. This was supposed to be the Gone Girl thing, and I was like,
and then that was like the last I'd heard of it. But then, spoilers for anybody.
I was gonna say, I think it turns out to be real.
It did. It did.
Because I think that's the punchline of it all, is that it's it was real.
It was, and because it, like, you listen, you're watching it, and you're like, they are believable. Like watching them tell the story. I mean, you can tell just like they're still upset about it. Like they still get, you know, like it still bothers them to talk about it, you know, and it's just like wild. And it's just, it really is. Like I really, in one vein, it's like I don't blame the cops for how they acted, but in the same vein, it's like y'all should have like check some other shit out first instead of just hopping on that. However, like we've said before, because this was dumb on their part, because Brandon and I both were like, motherfucker should have had a lawyer.
Yes.
All of them. Because I think she did. By the time they found the girl, Denise was her name. By the time they found her and started bringing her in to question her, or, you know, really it was interrogate. They didn't want to make it seem like they were interrogating her,
but that's what
it really was interrogation. She had a lawyer with her, and then he was the one who put the brakes on it once it started to turn like ugly. Because let me tell you what, guys, the main detective on this thing, his name is Detective Matt Mustard, and I'm like, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. I'm like, are we in a fucking game of Clue?
Yes, everything is Clue.
I was like, and so like Brandon and I were making fun of him. I was like, God, he sounds like a douche. And he really was. Like you're watching his little, and he's like, you know, he's lying to that guy. Like they made the dude take a polygraph test and he was like, you failed. And you're like, he's fucking lying.
That's a lie.
You knew. I mean, they didn't have time to like look at the results. Like he just right off the gate, he was like, you failed horribly. And it's like, here's like, I'm looking at Brandon. I'm like, he lied. He's fucking lying. Like this guy needs to get a lawyer. And finally at that point, when he was getting in his face with the polygraph stuff, the guy was like, I guess I need a lawyer. Like he finally says it at that point. And then of course, then the guy immediately stops and just gets up and leaves the room, which I was like, that's the correct response, sir. Get out of there. But this is the whole time they were like pounding him with, I think they kept him there like 18 hours. After going through all that he went through, and then you find out it was fucking true.
Yeah,
it wasn't a lie.
I swear to God, I've said it before, but I tell Spencer all the time, I'm like,
Yeah.
whatever. I disappear, I die, it's mysterious, it's totally normal, any of the things.
Yeah.
Get a lawyer because they're going to blame you.
Mm-hmm.
Also, don't kill me, but like.
Right. It's like anytime, like, because that was the whole thing, is they brought him down and made it sound like, oh, we just need your clothes for evidence
Mm-hmm.
because of this break-in, and we're treating, you're a victim, and then it's like, like the line of questioning was
Mm-hmm.
like, nope, 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 nope.
Which that's, it's gotta be horrible because you, as a
Right,
person who cares about your partner or whomever, like, you want to help. You want to give them everything that they possibly need. The
right,
problem is that they're going to railroad you
mm-hmm.
because 90% it's always the partner, the significant other, is someone you
Right,
know. So like, you have to protect yourself in order to make sure that they are looking at the other things. So yeah, it's awful.
yeah.
That's insane. Well, I'm excited to finish watching it, but like, I was like, didn't it all turn out to be real and true? And they were all like, oh,
Yes,
our bad, we thought you were just being a gone girl.
right, yeah.
Insane.
It was insane. Like, watching it, you're just like, oh my god,
Mm-hmm.
this is crazy. I mean, it is. It was just like one of those things where it's like, truth is definitely stranger than fiction sometimes.
God, yes.
It's like,
I mean, it's it's like it's been a few weeks ago. There's a thing going around on TikTok of, I think Fox News decided for whatever reason to have a tarot reader on
yes, 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 yes. I
for
saw
like
it.
Trump's you know 2024 presidential chances, or I don't remember what it was.
Yes,
Like, it was
yes, yes.
really bizarre, and then she ends up pulling like a card that was like, you're gonna fail and it's gonna be bad, and like, it was
It was
all,
like something of cups or something
yeah.
like that, and they were all like, "Oh my god, that's the worst card ever." It's like
It was,
failure and deception
and
and
they're all just
defeat,
like,
and it was like, oh,
and like, it was just weird, awkward moment.
yep.
When you're like, what? Why would you have? Why? What? Whatever. It's like, what were you even thinking?
But yeah. But it was one of those things where you're sitting there watching it and you're like, I really wish the police had done, once it started to come out that it wasn't either one of them, they really should have like tried harder to,
Well, I mean, but
I mean,
like,
because really what it was one cop was the one who connected that with something else that had happened that was similar. Like, she was the one who was like, wait a minute, there's something over here that happened. But you're like, wait, this happened before? What? It's one of those that was like, so it was like one person connected, and it was like, holy shit. Oh my gosh. They weren't lying. They didn't make this up, which I was like, the whole thing does. Like, when they sitting there telling it, you're just like, this sounds made up. But then it's like both of their stories matched, like separate from each other, even because it's like she hadn't spoken to him when they found her and got her back and started asking her questions, and everything she said matched what he said. And it was like, and then of course, except when she got separated from him and then had her time with the
right.
guy who kidnapped her, you know, but it was still just like, man, that's wild.
It
And then
makes
it
me
was
feel
like,
like if you're going to commit a crime, you need to be as over the top and ridiculous, because the cops aren't going to believe it. They're gonna be
right,
like, what do you mean a person came in dressed like the Tooth Fairy? Or.
right, right.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Anyway, that's kind of my judge, was just, we watched that and it was just one of those like, God, I can't
That's
believe
excellent.
this.
That's an excellent judge. I love that.
And again, get lawyers. Anything happens.
Always.
Doesn't matter if you think you're innocent, just get a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
Cover your own ass, man.
Mm-hmm. Make them do their job. Make them work for it.
Right. Because they will tell you to be like, okay, we're done. We're not doing this anymore. Nope, nope, nope. judging?
Well, I too am judging a TV show. As you know, and Claire has also joined my bandwagon, Traitors season 2
Mm,
is
yes.
on. And we
Yes.
just had was it the 5th episode, I guess, that dropped?
Yeah. I think it was 5. Yeah.
So if you're watching and you haven't seen it, skip ahead. Don't listen to this because I'm going to spoil the shit out of it. But like, season 5, 1, as always, Alan Cummings outfit, totally on point. The feathers everywhere.
This
perfect.
episode was ridiculous. I was cracking up.
I also am very appreciative that someone is paying really close attention to his hair this season, because the first season it was weird. Like it got long, and I had to be like, well, maybe this is just like a weird COVID thing, you know, or not. None of us are cutting our hair. But then I was like, there's a whole set of like hair and makeup. They could cut his hair. They could have.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of COVID, did you know that's why that one girl just mysteriously left in the first season?
No.
There's one girl, it was just, they go to the like round table or whatever at the end of like one of the episodes, and he's like, I can't remember her name. It was like Andrea or Amanda or something like that. Anyway, it's like, she's no longer with us. And it was like, that was just like it. There was no more discussion. It wasn't anything like, and everybody's like, okay. And then so it was like, what happened? She got COVID. She tested positive, and so they had to like take her out immediately. And,
right.
You know, I saw something where it was like she'd posted later on her social media that was like, you know, I'm feeling better, but it was just COVID. They got tested positive for COVID, and you know, going home, I took all the precautions. I quarantined, and then I masked up, and you know, I feel fine, but she had tested positive for COVID. So that's why in the first season, that one chick just like, she was there and then she wasn't. Like, they didn't banish her. They didn't murder her. So it was just, she was like, she's no longer with us, and she's not playing the game anymore. And it was like, what happened? That's what happened. She got COVID.
No, I did not know any of that.
Yes. Because I was like, I want to know what happened. Was there a scandal? Like, what?
Yeah, I guess I just always assumed just something. I
fall into holes like that. I'm just like, I'm weird.
But anyway, so on this episode, grand good time. I don't even know. It's not really a competition. It's the stupidest premise, really. You have to do these things to earn money, but at the end, we're going to let you earn all the money. So, like, whatever.
Yeah, at the end, you'll get all the money for the $250,000 pot or whatever. Yeah.
So they had to do these weird, like, identifying bird calls, but not like normal birds. These were not real bird sounds.
Right.
So that was hilarious. And like Spencer, of course, walked in right as they're like running through the house trying to find the stuffed bird that makes the same sound that the people outside are telling them over the stupid walkie. But
yeah, it was just funny because they're like using walkie-talkies. And so the people outside run to this little booth. And then they get there and they like make a noise on a whistle, and then somebody off in the distance makes a bird call sound, and they have to listen to it 2 or 3 times, and then they have to mimic that sound into the walkie-talkie back to the group who's at the castle, and then it was just funny because they go running through the house like crazy, arms up in the air, like just repeating the sound that they just heard over the walkie-talkie. And so some of them just sound like dying cows at some point, where it was just like, you know, running through the house, and Alan Cumming is just standing there just watching them like.
My favorite though is at one point because the older guy, John, running through, and he's like, what was the sound, John? And then John does it again. Or whatever, and
because this guy used to be like a politician in Europe and in the United Kingdom.
So it's a good time. But the thing that
was at the House of Commons or something like that. It was like, oh my gosh, this guy was a politician,
which is terrifying.
I know,
looking back. But so the thing that I love the most, though, is that the big surprise this episode is they brought Kate back from season 1.
Yes.
And, like, if she immediately wasn't just like, I don't fucking give a shit about any of this, I was like, why are you back?
It's because they didn't make her a traitor. That's why.
And so, like,
they should have made her a traitor, and then she
but,
would have
like,
cared.
of all the people who you could have chosen to come back from that, they picked the one that, honestly, I hated her and I loved her in the same breath because she was just ridiculously dramatic and was like, just kill me tonight. Just go ahead, fucking murder me. And you're like, yeah, murder her or whatever.
But they weren't killing her because they were using her as like a buffer because everybody thought she was
a traitor, but they would never vote her off. So ridiculous. So the fact that she's back makes me laugh hysterically because I'm like, we needed this. We needed another bit of fun. But I'm also thinking, like, shouldn't they have gotten a traitor by now? It's pretty pathetic.
Right? Yeah.
I mean...
Because how long did it take them before they voted off their first traitor last time? It took them a hot minute before they got what's-his-face.
Mm-hmm. But... God, I don't know. It's so insane. But I love it. I love Traitors and I love the drama because I hate all of them. Like, I don't give a shit about any of these people. And so watching them run through the house acting like idiots trying to find a bird call is really entertaining to me.
Right. Yeah.
Because I'm like, they're all fine. They're all financially fine. None of them need this money.
Right, right.
They're all reality TV stars. Everybody's fine. But Alan Cummings, I'm here for him.
Right.
So that's my judge. I'm enjoying Traitors. Please continue the journey with me, everyone, because it's such
and on that
time.
note, I was judging on that show the fact that Michael Jordan's son was dating Scottie Pippen's ex-wife.
Yeah, that's so weird.
Like, what? She's 50 and he's like 33. I'm sorry, but that's
it's weird.
Because it's like, that was like your dad's best friend.
Mm-hmm.
And I just talk about like unnecessary family drama.
Yeah. Yes. Well, in fact, I had no idea who they were. Claire had to tell me that. I was like, wait, they're who? Oh, okay.
I'm like, the couple who's dating, who's on the show. I'm like, that's Michael Jordan's son and that's Scottie Pippen's ex-wife. And this is weird.
And to me, what
I'm like, wait.
is that they somehow last week were able to convince everyone that she would have killed off her boyfriend at like the first night and that she was a traitor. And I'm like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, these people are dumb. But I hate, I really feel bad. I don't know why, but I don't want them to vote off Dan. Like, I don't want Dan to be the first traitor to go. Like, I don't know why.
Mm-hmm. This is stupid. I'm Team Parvati because I love her headbands.
You love her headbands?
Yes. They're always like, I am a sparkly Renaissance princess kind of thing going on. I'm like, yeah, I'm here for this.
Right.
So, I don't know.
It's like, not that I want him to win. It's like, I just want him to hold on a little bit longer.
I don't want him to win because he apparently won Big Brother, according to this week's episode. I was like, oh, cool. He doesn't need to win twice. That's terrible.
Right. Anyway, yeah.
But yes. So there it is.
We could judge this show all day.
All day. So good.
Because I am not a reality TV
No,
person.
I am not.
I do not care.
If it were any other premise or any other host, I probably wouldn't watch it.
Right? Like, no.
I'm like, no. Castle in Scotland? Sold. Alan Cummings? Yes.
I'm there. Wait, they have to like murder people? And then one of the episodes, they didn't just like go and vote who they were murdering. It was they had to like go and poison the person. So it was like whoever drank from this specific glass first, and they had to be sneaky about it. And I'm like, I am here for this level of like murdering people. Do it in the open and be sneaky. Like I was like, that's kind of cool. I'm glad they changed that up a bit.
I loved that Kate very immediately was like, oh, poison? I don't want Parvati to bring me any wine. I can't drink that. Everybody pour your own wine. I was like, that's right. You accidentally got it right. Bravo, Kate.
100%. I know when she said that, I was like, oh, look at her being so on point and not even knowing.
And having no idea.
Right.
It's beautiful. Well, I guess that it must be time for tarot time with April. A spooky spooky. So, Claire, what shall we ask the cards this week?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. You start making a list of questions. Let's see. What will the rest of winter hold for us?
Ooh, the rest of winter. What will the rest of winter hold for us? I have to say, my winter's going pretty freaking well right now, so I can't complain. All right, so we have the 5 of Pentacles inverted.
Inverted.
We have the 10 of Pentacles. And then we have the 4 of Cups. So apparently it's going to be pretty low-key things. No major things.
Good,
so that's
okay,
good.
yeah, that's good.
No major arcana to be like, your winter, you will study and learn, or whatever.
Right.
So it's like, you must learn things.
No Pope.
And I'm like, dude, I have learned so much at my new job because it's a whole other world of things. And I'm like, I don't have room to learn more, okay? It's like that.
You're just like, my brain is full. It's at capacity.
Oh, hey, 5 of Pentacles inverted. Are you ready?
Yes.
Things are looking up. This isn't to say that everything is super. Things don't fall apart overnight and they won't get better overnight. But this is saying that the break you've been praying for is on its way.
Okay.
So cool. Things are looking up. Things are getting better.
Nice.
And then the 10 of Pentacles. Somewhere? There we go. It's all about sharing your wealth. So maybe that means we get some wealth.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot of wealth, whether it's emotional or spiritual. You have it in abundance and are more than willing to share. It's about inheritance, financial stability, and charity.
Uh-oh.
So cool. Okay, I'm here for that.
Uh-huh.
So things are looking up, and then we're going to share our wealth and our financial security. And also, we have our 4 of Cups. 4 of Cups. The 4 of Cups. This card can be defined by the word meh. The person is being particular because they know what they want, possibly avoiding an unsuitable partner or a job that doesn't fit them. Maybe it's best to sit under a tree with your arms crossed until the right one comes along. No, thank you. I like my job. Don't let me hate my job.
You're like, I just got it.
I just got it, and I'm digging it. So, like, all right. So it looks like this winter is going to bring us some things looking up, some financial stability, and then maybe we start feeling a little bit meh about it. Or maybe winter does the meh thing where it just kind of stays forever and...
Right. You're just like, come on.
And you're like, no, I'm actually ready
because
for spring.
that means, what is it, like next week? It's this week. The groundhog will probably see his shadow.
I mean, yes, he probably will. But that's okay.
Which is garbage
winter.
because they do that bullshit at like 6 a.m. when there's no sun. How can he see his shadow?
Well, and I'm like, different groundhogs in different places are going to have different experiences. So which groundhog is the true groundhog? And don't at me with Puxatawny Phil. Why is he the determiner of all of the continental United States?
Right. I feel that.
Okay. Well, there you have it. So, we don't need this slide. Woo! Force of habit. So there you have it, guys. That is this week's very fun culty episode on cults and the Anthill Kids. Thank you again, Claire, for that lovely story that I get to keep in my brain before I go to sleep. Yay! Be sure to join us next week as I cover my cult, which I won't tell you what it is yet. Sneaky, sneaky. But it does take place in Mexico and around the same time frame as Claire's. So, LOL. We're really good at that.
I don't know how.
Just magic. What can I say?
Apparently. Yep.
It's the twin flame thing, even when we don't try.
It really is.
So until then, you can find us in all the things and at all the places at
Brunch and Judge.
Please follow, like, comment, subscribe. And you can send us any additional topics for our wheel or stories you would like for us to tell to us at
brunchandjudge@gmail.com.
So until next time, keep on brunching.
And keep on judging.
And don't hack off anybody's arms.
No.
Bye.